Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Welcome back, everyone, for another episode.
I am so glad to still be here.
Exactly.
So today we're going to get into some role play.
But stop. In the name of love.
What?
Stop, collaborate, and listen. We got something else to talk about instead of rope today. I know we planned on rope today, and I know you was excited for rope today, but I got to tell you about the amazing weekend that I had.
Boo. Hiss. Boo. This is so not fair.
Well, I hate that it turned out the way it did, but unfortunately, that's what happens. I was
sick.
You was sick.
I was sick, so... All right, we will talk about what an amazing weekend you had with all my hard work.
Oh, that was so fun. Just getting back from Swinger Society Takeover at Club Tempted.
Where you personally, as in not we, but you did 4 demos.
I did 4 demos, and it was an awesome experience. We had so much fun with it. We definitely missed you being there.
But I was sick.
You was sick.
And I made the choice. I made the call that I could not attend because I did not want to get anybody else sick.
Right.
It was a very hard decision because this is a business venture. We're doing this. Yep. These kind of events and stuff in order to educate people. And I had to stay home. We had planned this for months and months.
It has been a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money went into getting all the props, getting everything prepared, getting everything set up.
And there I was the whole last week just feeling awful and not able to do finishing touches and stuff, and then I just couldn't attend. Right. But I understand it was amazing, so you're going to have to, since we're not doing role play, you're going to have to tell me all about it.
Oh, yeah. So we'll start off this little adventure. Thursday, you were talking to Zora, our good friend from Ex Libris.
Let me tell it. So, yeah, she sent me a message and said, oh, good luck. I'm sure you're really excited. Now, this was Thursday, the day before our first event. And I said, actually, I'm going to be unable to attend because I'm sick. I am so sick that I can barely keep my eyes open. And I've been off work. This is day 2, and I'm just not going to be able to go. And she immediately said, can you take a phone call? And I said, oh, I don't want to take a phone call. But I said, yes, I can take a phone call. I mean, I was barely surviving. You don't understand, barely surviving. So she called and she said, oh my God, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? You know, me and Dante are there for you, whatever you need. She said that she is more than willing to help set up the demonstration, do the demonstration with Master Nick, whatever you need, just let me know. And my brain went, I don't know.
Right.
Like, she's like, why don't I message Master Nick and see what he needs or what he doesn't? And yep. I said, that would be a great idea because I can't talk to him till he's home and I have no idea what he wants to do.
Right. Yeah. So I got the message in our group chat from Zora asking, hey, what can we do? We're there for you. What do you need us to, to take care of? I'm reading the messages and I'm just replying, you know what? I think I'm good. Man, I greatly appreciate it. It's one of those things. I know how Zora and Dante are.
We were just with
And
them at Kingtasia, where they had some
they were
babysitting issues
yeah,
too.
and they were stressing. And I don't want to put anybody in it. I would rather take the stress and the nervous wreck over somebody else having to take it along with me. So I was just telling her, nope, I'm good. I should be able to get everything taken care of. I don't need no help. I greatly appreciate it. It's amazing to have friends like that at the drop of a hat.
You get offers and you're like, oh, well, that's so sweet. But no, I got this.
Right. Kind of ended the conversation, got to thinking about it throughout the day. And I thought, you can misinterpret a text very easily. So I came home from work with the expectations of, I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to call them, because I would much rather personally tell them, how appreciative I was of them.
Right. Because you were telling me this, and the way you were saying it made me feel like you don't need them. And you said, that's not it. That is not it. I would be more than willing to have their assistance,
Yes.
but I don't want them to be stressed about it.
To be stressed to take care of the kids.
So if they're able to make it,
Right.
I will utilize them, but do not make an extra effort to be there. That
Right.
was your thinking.
Yep.
And that's not what it sounded like when you were texting. So it made total sense that you were going to call them after dinner.
So we was eating dinner.
And bing, a package arrives.
Yeah, like a whole freaking semi truck pulled down our road in front of our house and dropped off this humongous package from Temu.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you were like, oh, that's all the stuff for the demo tomorrow. So I'm opening it up and I'm pulling it out, and I pull out, I'm like, what the hell is this? Oh, well, that's decoration to hang on the wall. Okay. What the hell is this? Oh, well, that's decoration for this other wall. Well, what the hell is this pack? And it was just,
It's for the table.
It was nonstop. And now I'm looking.
It is a Mad Hatter tea party.
Yes. But now I'm looking at this package going, well, fuck, I don't know how to decorate. When I was single, living by myself, I had 2 lawn chairs and a TV sitting on a cardboard box.
I saw a video of you dancing there, kind of drunk, with nothing. You had
was
nothing.
my decorations, so I could just imagine. And then it set in. I'm good for the demo, but I have no idea how to set this shit up. So I messaged Zora and Dante through our text group, and I was like, "Hey, can you all give me a call?" And Dante was busy at the time, and Zora called. And that's when I told her, I was like, look, for the demo, I'm good. But yes, I need a woman's touch, because Lady Dee has bought all this stuff, and I have no idea how it goes up. And I want it to look good, and I want to put everything to use. So she was, now we're less than 24 hours away from the event. And she's like, okay, oh my God, as soon as Dante gets home, we'll figure this out and we'll let you know.
And the thing is, we have had them on this podcast, and we know how thick their contract is, how very thick.
Oh, yeah.
And Zora's said, I 100% know that Dante will be on board for me and him to assist you, or me alone. I have to speak with him, obviously, but I'm 100% certain that when you guys are in need, we will stand up and do what has to be done.
Right. And luckily for us, Dante was willing to say, okay, I'll stay home. I'll take care of what needs to be taken care of here. Let Zora come to help me set up.
Thank God it was Zora.
Yes.
I imagine Sir Dante and Master Nick sitting in front of all these decorations at the tea party and going, we don't need a tea party.
Yeah,
we're good.
Fuck the tea
We
party.
don't need a tea party.
There may not have been a demo.
We're going to have pictures of this up on the website, so you will see what an event it was.
It was.
How much decorations there actually were.
Right. So Friday night, Zora showed up. We got to the club 2 hours prior to them opening, just to get everything set up.
And that's another hour and a half before the demonstration time as well.
So the club opened at 7. My first demo was at 8:30. I got to the club just a little bit before 5. Zora was right behind me getting there. Of course, we had to get everything packed upstairs into the 3rd floor lounge. I had a lot of rearranging to do. I had to open up the space some more. So yes, we worked from the time we got there up until almost 7 o'clock before we got everything done, got cooled off, got changed into our wardrobe.
That was a funny story. How did that occur?
That was fun. Thankfully, Zora was also able to stay throughout the whole night. She didn't just show up for that. So she had brought her change of clothes. I brought my change of clothes.
Thank you, Sir Dante, for lending out Zora
Absolutely.
to Master Nick, because the event would have gone off a lot different without me there. He still would have done great.
The demo would have done good. It just wouldn't have been as pretty. So we get everything set up, and we're standing in front of the fans, and we're cooling down a little bit, and we're wiping the sweat off, and we're, and then some of our friends from the club are up there, and they're talking to us, and I turn around and look, and bloop, Zora's pretty much naked. She's done got her clothes off in the process of changing hers, and of course I'm like, well, shit. Yeah, there's no need in going somewhere. So I start stripping her,
All of our friends have all seen it before.
So we got changed, had everything set up. The doors open at 7. We was able to go down and mingle a little bit. Now, the Friday night event, they had sold a little over 200 tickets.
For the full event.
For the full event for Friday. A lot of the people were traveling Friday, so a lot of them did not get there at 7. And a lot of them hadn't even showed up at 8:30 before the first event. But
that's what we've seen in the historic, the last one too.
9:30, the place was really getting packed. But so we had our first event at 8:30. They made the announcements. They told everybody where they was. So we was doing the sensory deprivation, sensual to light impact at our Mad Hatter Tea Party.
Yay! It was so amazing. I couldn't see the event, but I bought everything. I know that it was amazing.
Yeah. And we made sure and send you pictures after we got it for your approval too. But people started showing up. They gathered, and of course we had the tea party table with 6 chairs, 6 blindfolds, and 6 noise canceling earmuffs, headphones. And my biggest fear was not getting the 6 volunteers to sit at the table.
Right, because you're putting on blindfolds and ear muffs that the sensory deprivation.
Yep. But the people showed up. I didn't have no problem filling the 6 seats.
And then what happened?
Once they got their blindfolds and their earphones on, I turned around to everybody else who was standing there and was like, okay, I need y'all's help. You all are going to grab implements and start rubbing and doing the sensual to light impact on these individuals. And I wasn't getting very many volunteers to do that. And I thought, well, this is the best part. You're the one that gets to rub and
well, that's the Dom's perspective. I'm a sub. Put me in the seat and take over.
Right. So it took a lot of persuasion and a lot of talking and a lot of back and forth. Me and Zora was very active in the first demo just to keep somebody from sitting there and not being
experiencing
touched.
Anything.
So the first one went good. I mean, we had a lot of good feedback from it, but it wasn't as interactive as I thought it was going to be. That demo ended. Everybody left. Me and Zora straightened everything back up, put everything back to square one like it was. We roped off our area, and then we was able to go down and mingle and watch the people dancing, and we could see that the crowd was now getting bigger. Our next event was at 10:30. A little after 10 o'clock, me and Zora went back up. We removed the chains. We made sure everything was straight, squared away. And 10:30, our next demo started. And holy hell, there was a lot of people up there.
So there was people that both wanted to volunteer to sit and to experience it, and people who wanted to participate.
Right.
And
I had no problems getting 6. I actually had like 9 volunteers immediately that wanted to sit in it. So I had told them, all right, well, we'll take these 6. And when you're done, when you're ready to be done with it, you just stand up, take your blindfold, headphones off, and then anybody else wanting to sit down can now take that seat. And I even told them, I will stay here as long as it takes to make sure everybody experiences it that wants to experience the sensory deprivation.
Because that's what we do. Yep. This is the reason we're doing it, is so others can experience.
Yep. So we set the 6 down, got them started, and one by one, little by little, one would stand up, and then there was somebody else ready to jump in that seat. So we're swapping out blindfolds, we're cleaning the headphones, trying to keep everything as sanitary as possible, and didn't have any trouble at all getting people to come up and use the implements. They herded in there like a bunch of cattle. They were scrambling. So me and Zora on the second event, we were able to stand back and actually watch and monitor and pay attention and see. We could actually see everybody's facial expressions and we could see the chills that they would get and the goosebumps that would come up.
So I know that we have talked about all of this because when you got home, you kind of decompressed with me.
Yes.
Plus, I really wanted to know. So I understand we had a friend there that sat down for.
Oh yeah. So we've got she's been at the club probably in the last 6 to 8 months. She's newer to the club, newer to the lifestyle, and she's wanting to experience all this. And she's made a lot of friends doing this. She showed up towards the end of the second demo, and she had sat down, and there was somebody, using the implements on her, and I'm just standing there watching everybody, and I hear somebody say, "Will you do me?" What? And she had slid her blindfold up, and she was looking at me, and she goes, "Will you do me?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Well, I'll do this for you." So I grabbed the fuzzy gloves and a spatula and just several implements in my hand, and I was alternating between using them. And I had switched to the spatula, and I would rub it against her back, and I just kind of just lightly tap on her back. And while I'm doing that, I hear her say, "Green, harder, please." I thought, what? So I kind of bent down and right up next to her ear where her headphones was, and kind of talked loud. I said, "What did you say?" "Harder, please. Green." And I was like, "This is sensual to light impact. I am not hitting you hard." She goes, "Oh, okay." But yeah, she was definitely wanting it a little rougher than what the event was planned for. And we've seen her take flogging and
I
paddle.
flogged her.
You have flogged her before.
Yes.
But yeah, that was kind of funny. She's sitting there just very patiently, very polite. "Harder, please." Well, this isn't the demonstration for that. We'll have to do that again some other time. But it was, again, the ones I tried to catch them as they were taking their blindfolds off and talking to them, "Was this your first time experiencing this?" And majority of the people it was, they had never experienced anything like it before. And the ones that had experienced it was, just very small, very briefly. But I got a lot of positive feedback from the people that were doing it, how much they enjoyed it, the feelings that they got, how, a lot of people, there was more than one that said they lost track of time. They didn't know how long they had sat there. Another story, another funny one. I didn't find this out till the next night. We was talking to them, but she had mentioned that they were there for the sensory deprivation one. And I was like, "Okay, well, was that your first time doing it?" She said, "Yes." And I'm not going to lie, I was uneasy about participating. I said, "Okay, well, what was you uneasy about?" And she said, "Well, I'm a little uneasy about people I don't know touching me."
And you're going to be blindfolded and with headphones on.
Right. And I told her, I said, "I completely understand that. 100%. Had you not wanted to do it, I would have understood that. But what did you think?" She said, "Oh my God, I absolutely loved it." And I remember now that, when she was telling me a story, I can remember hearing her on Friday night. I remember she turned to her partner and said, "What was that? Oh my God, it was amazing." Come to find out, it was an icing spatula, one of those rubber-ended icing spatulas. And she kept going on and on about how great that felt. And she never will look at an icing spatula the same again. And he's standing back with a big smile on his face going, "Yeah, we've got like 7 or 8 of them at home already." But that was the main purpose when we set up this tea party. When we set this up was to have normal
Implements.
household items that most everybody has: forks, butter knives, spoons, spatulas, gloves, fabrics, different kinds of stuff like that. So it's not like you have to go out and invest and spend a lot of money to do this. This was all household implements.
Right. And the big thing, I think, when it comes to the sensory and sensation play is that if you're taking away a sense like the eyes or the ears, you're then heightening all the other senses. So of course it felt amazing because now her focus cannot be on what she's seeing or what is going on around her. She's sitting there focused on another person touching her
Right.
in ways that aren't normally done.
Right.
I mean, when you're having sex and stuff, a lot of times you're focused on the body and the breathing but you're not focused on each individual touch. And that's
Right.
what this is.
And it was, again, a lot of great positive feedback, which is good. I didn't hear anything negative. We didn't have any issues with anybody getting too rough or too hard with the implements. Everybody was very appropriate. Some women that sat down, they exposed their breast. They wanted that, and it's totally different in a lifestyle environment because people understand. Okay, your tits are out. That don't mean I just get to grab them and suck on them. There was none of that. So everybody had the respect of everybody else.
Yes.
And
it's amazing.
Using a feather.
Plus, wait, before we go further, everybody at the club gets to see tits all the time.
Yeah, it's a common thing.
It is just a normal part of. So you're desensitized to it in terms of, oh my God, there's boobs out. It's not like that ever at the club.
It was great, and we had a lot of men to participate too. So the men would take their shirts off and would come up and sit down and get blindfolded.
Ooh.
And so one of the event coordinator for Swinger Society, her husband was one of the very first volunteers. When he found out what was going on, he's like, I want to do this. So, well, you make sure. So at 8:30 at our first one, he was there. And I said, I'm going to make sure you get a seat. So he, took his shirt off, put his blindfold on, and he got a lot of attention from several different ones there. And he did. He absolutely loved it. And I think he even came back at 10:30 to do the other end of it. He didn't want to be a volunteer to sit. He wanted to be one that goes around and touches other people.
It's amazing.
So he got both sides of it.
Exactly what our plan was.
It was, and truly thinking about it prior to, I kept saying Friday night is going to be the better demo. That was my thoughts going into this whole thing. Friday night is going to be the best one. Saturday is going to be...
You were kind of about it because it's the electric wand. And for us, the electric wand is a part of our staple tools.
Right.
It's a staple implement. We use it all the time.
Right.
So for us, that is like, okay, I pull out the electric wand. I've got implements. That's what we do.
And then Saturday, so we'll go into Saturday's event. I didn't have to get there as early because there wasn't a whole lot of decorating. However... Saturday, you were starting to feel better.
For the first time in ages.
You stayed awake all day Saturday. And you spent
terrible.
Well, Friday, I was needing to start packing, and you was sleeping in the living room, so I'm trying to sneak around, pack stuff. But Saturday, you stayed awake all day, and you made 4 new signs and posters and stuff.
I knew I wanted to do something for the electric play. I knew you needed something on the table. You'd have the implements, but let's explain what it is. And so I created ones with lightning backgrounds, like
lightning bolts.
Bolts, so you can see the electricity.
And that really made the room look so much better. The efforts you put in Saturday, spur of the moment, making all these signs, and it, you had a sign that talked about us here at the Dom Life.
Right.
Had a sign displaying our games, some of our games. We had Naughtywood, we had poker laid out for people, and people actually played Naughtywood
while they were
before
walking
the
through.
demos. They would look down, they would read it, they would ask how to play it, and they would take a block out and they'd pull that card and they'd say, okay, let's go do this, and away they'd go. So they were actually playing the Naughtywood while it was just supposed to have been sitting there to look at. They were actually playing it. But Saturday, I didn't have to get there as early. I didn't need any help getting everything set up. We had bought kind of like an A-frame to where we could was supposed to tie you and Christina up to the A-frame for me to do the demonstration. Sadly,
I got none of it. I got nothing.
Since you wasn't there, Zora again graciously volunteered, stepped in, and said, "I will take her spot." I got there Saturday. Not as early as I did Friday, but got there Saturday, rearranged a little bit more furniture, made more room for my 2 tables, got all it set up, got the A-frame put up, got changed. I had plenty of time to sit and chill. And I stayed in the 3rd floor lounge all night. That's where I was at. I didn't leave that area because it was drawing a lot of attention as people were walking through and walking by. It was drawing their attention. So I was talking and explaining what all it was and telling them to come back for the demos.
And see, that is the thing we talked about was you were kind of, on the electric, which is really what they had asked for. And then we came up with the idea for the second event because
Right.
they weren't quite sure what to do. And it was Alice Through the Looking Glass. So we had come up with the other idea, but they wanted the electric
wanted the
wand for the
electric
cogs
wand,
and
so-
corsets. Makes total sense. And you were kind of downplaying that. And I think you were just thinking of it.
Right. And here's the reason why. I remember the first time we saw the electric wand, and it was one of those, oh, sweet, that's cool.
Did they have any implements though? I mean, attachments? Did they have the electrodes that we have, which
I don't
is
know
like
that-
5 billion?
Yeah, I don't know that they had that. I remember seeing it for the first time, and I went, oh, wow, that's cool as hell. And we stopped, and we watched for 5 or 6 minutes.
We were at the dungeon.
We were at the, and then we was like, okay, let's go. So for me, the electric wand, yes, it is cool. It will spark curiosity, but you can only sit there and watch it being used on somebody for so long. So
Well,
therefore, I was thinking
but-
in my head, I was thinking people are going to see it. Yep, that's cool. That's awesome. Okay, let's go. So I didn't expect it to turn out to be as much fun as it was. At 8:30 on Saturday for our first demo. Now it's Saturday. People aren't traveling as much. They're already there. They've been checked in their hotel. For our 8:30 demo Saturday, we packed the third floor lounge. It was ungodly amount of people that was there. And then I got nervous because I'm still thinking, well, I mean, how long are they going to stay? So
You're so silly.
I started in with, a little talk, who I was, what we was about, what we're going to be doing. And, and telling them it's going to be a quick demonstration. I'm going to spend 10 to 15 minutes on my models. I had Zora and Christina. They were going to be my models. I was going to kind of go through as many electrodes I could in that 10 to 15 minute time frame.
How many electrodes do you think you have right now,
Over
Master?
40. There's well over 40 of them.
And they're not cheap.
No. So we got the first demo started. We turned the lights out. That way people could see, more of the effect, more of the sparks. And there was several of them that I pulled. And the first time I would hit, you would hear the crowd go, ooh, just the show of it, the bright lights that was coming off of them, the sparks,
Oh my gosh.
some of them were single sparks. Some of them were like 5 or 6 at one time. And that really started hyping me up. I thought, oh man, the crowd is into it. They're loving it. So then that just really made me get more into,
You had two, I would assume, because I haven't seen pictures, but nearly naked women tied up on
Yes.
a pole, and you're putting electrodes on them.
Yeah.
You're pulling out the electric wand, and there's sparks going, and you didn't think that this would be amazing for people to watch?
I honestly did not
Okay.
think it would be, but it was. And so we went through, several electrodes, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna stop the demonstration here. So I told him, I said, this will be the last one we use. I'll untie the ladies, and then if you want to feel it, form a line, come to me, and we'll start from there. So they turned the lights up, just so I could see. And I turned around and looked, and it was like they was trying to get in at the state fair. It was a line of people. So everybody that came up, of course, I was, have you ever felt this before? Because if you had felt it before, then I knew I wouldn't have to start with the lowest intensity electrode. But 90% of the people that walked up said, no, I've never felt it. Okay. We're going to go with the lowest intensity. I'm going to turn the power down a little bit, quick touch, and zap them. And it was always that initial zap. They would jump and then they'd go, that didn't hurt.
Right.
It was just the anxiety and the anticipation. I was like, okay, well, let's do it again. And then, they wouldn't jump as much. So we would work our way up. Now, do you want more? Yeah, let's go a little higher. So I'd swap wands, a little higher intensity, and I would take them up to, they would say, okay, that's enough. And then they would walk off, and then I would start all over with another one. And there was one guy, he was hilarious. I don't know his name. I don't know where he's from. He's from out of state. He's not a Club Tempted member.
Let's call him Jim.
Let's call him Jim.
Yeah.
All right. So Jim was there, and he was a trip. And I started off with the lowest intensity. And of course, like everybody else, the first touch I hit, it was like he was jumping up out of his soul. His soul was leaving his body or something. And then he was like, oh, that's not bad. I was like, all right, let's do it again. Do you want to go higher? And he would say, yeah, let's go higher. So I would change electrodes and I'd do it on it. He'd be like, oh, okay. And I was like, do you want to go higher? Let's go higher. So then it got towards the end. I'd say, do you want to go higher? And he'd go, let's go higher. So everybody was getting a big kick out of him. And it took him
Hey, Jim, if this is you, I want to get to know you too.
Yeah, Jim, you were awesome. So we finally, went through a lot of electrodes with him to get him to say, okay, that's a little bit too much. I'm going to stop right there.
Did he walk away then?
And then he thanked me. He walked away, didn't see him no more, and finished it out. All the volunteers that was there that stayed. So everybody had kind of cleared my area. I'm straightening everything back up, getting everything prepped for the next show. And there was a few other people that come walking by and they were like, well, what's this? I'm like, well, there's demonstrations, but hey, since you're here, you want to feel it here. So I just spent the time in between shows still demonstrating.
I'm surprised you didn't remember this from our last time when we were at the club takeover. They just want to experience it. All right, keep going.
Come close to our 10:30, which I had my ladies, Zora and Christina. I told them to come up about 10 minutes early. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time tying them. So about 5 minutes till we was already getting a crowd. So I would start tying them up by their hands in the handcuffs. And
with rope.
With rope, yep.
Yes.
I'd tie them with rope. So I would secure their hands, and then I would take the excess and just kind of lay it over their arms to keep them from stepping on it. And we had one of our other friends that was there.
We have a lot of friends there because it's Club Tempted.
And come the second demo, they were
feeling good.
They were feeling good. I don't want to say they were bratty, but they was riding that line like a drunken clown of bratty. And I would get one of them tied up by the hands, and I would lay the rope over them. And our friend Ashley would jump up and say, come on, I'm going to take you for a walk. And she would grab that rope, and away they went. I'm like, where the hell are they going? I've got to have her for a demo. And they're gone. They're gone. Can't find them. I'm like, what the hell? And, they finally come back. So I get both of them tied to the pole. And little Miss Ashley sitting over in the corner, sitting down on the floor in the corner, hoarding a bag of tater chips or something.
She sent me a picture. She had popcorn. She brought her own snacks to the show. She sent me a picture.
She was sitting over eating snacks while everything's going on. The 10:30 show had even more people than the 8:30. I didn't think it was possible, but there was even more people in there for the 10:30 one. So again,
word of mouth, that's part of it. People were talking about how amazing.
Yep. We, lowered the lights, turned the lights off, got started in the show. Finished up with them, turned around, was going to take volunteers again. And this is kind of the same sequence I did with the first one. And about halfway through my volunteers of the second show, Jim shows back up. And he's standing there bouncing. He's like, I've done felt this, but I got a question. I was like, all right, what's that? He goes, how would it feel if you touched my ball? And I was like, I don't know. Pull it out. Let's find out. And he just kind of looked at me funny. And I said, if you want to know, I'll be more than happy to show it to you.
Of course you're going to show it to him.
And he was like, okay. So he's pumping himself up. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. So he grabs his shorts. He pulls his shorts up and one ball falls out. So he's like, all right.
I don't think you could do that. I think both balls would fall out.
Oh yeah. Only one of his fell out. But it was there. It was exposed. And of course, now everybody's going, oh my God, is he really going to do it? So everybody's creeping in closer and forming a circle around us. And I'm like, all right, here you go. So I hit him one time, a little zzz on there. He jumped, he squalled, he stomped. It was like he was in a stampede. He was running in place and he's going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, do it again. I was like, shit. All right, here we go. So I hit him again the second time. And of course he was running in place again. Oh my God, it feels, I don't know how to describe that. And he was like, all right, thank you. And he turned around and left. But it, again, it was very surprising to me that I had as much fun as I did on that because I was not expecting it.
So one of the things that you mentioned to me, what is a reverse fishbowl?
Okay.
What is a fishbowl first?
All right. So at Club Tempted, they have a room. It's called the Fishbowl. And they have it set up to look like an aquarium.
in the lounge.
The room is a pretty large room. I would guess you could easily get 10 couples. And on the big wall right in that room is a big window. And they've got it made where there's water in between it to look like an aquarium. They got little fish stuck to it. And they call this the fishbowl room. Normally, on any other given night, you will find people standing outside the fishbowl.
In the lounge,
in
watching.
the lounge, looking in.
Yep.
It's like you're looking into a fishbowl, only there's people doing some pretty amazing shit in there. However, last night, it was a reversed fishbowl. I noticed while doing this demonstration and while taking volunteers, I would turn, there was 10 to 15 people in the fishbowl, but they were all looking out at me. So it was kind of cool to know what that room is for and how it normally gets used. It was very strange to turn and see people in that room with their clothes still on, looking out at us out in the lounge. So it was, again, Swinger Society done such a great job on this event. I didn't get to experience it the way we did at their first club takeover.
Because we weren't the performers.
Right.
We just
We were there for guests.
And then we got
asked if we would fill in for somebody on their very first one.
And that resulted in pretty much the same.
Us.
We were busy in the dungeon the whole night. We had lines of people.
Yep.
And then this time they contacted us before the event and wanted us. And from what you said, after seeing the tea party set up, what happened?
They actually asked what we was doing in December for their next takeover at Club Tempted.
So I might have missed one.
Yeah.
But I will be back.
You will be back. But again, I do got to say, Swinger Society, you all done an amazing job. You put on one hell of an event. We had Club Tempted DJ S. Dot opened both nights for DJ Life of Spice. And when he showed up at 10 o'clock, the music got louder. The bass was pumping. The dance floor was packed.
Sir Dante was on there too.
Sir Dante. So I got ready to leave last night, and it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I haven't seen Dante or Zora in hours. I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing, but I get everything packed up. I'm making my rounds, telling everybody bye. I run into Zora, and I'm like, okay, hey, I'm going home. And she goes, have you seen Dante? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen Dante. Come here. I got to show you this. I'm like, where the hell are you taking? I don't know that I want to see this, because I know Dante's probably somewhere naked, and I'm good. I don't need to see that. You know, I've already seen it enough. She's like, no, you're going to want to see this. So she takes me in. We go over to the dance floor, standing right beside the DJ booth. I mean, he's a foot from the DJ booth. He's got eyes locked on the DJ, and he is bouncing up and down and raving his ass off.
And mind you, Dante has a phenomenal body, and he shows it off to the nines. He shows it off with just some strappy thing. And
he had on the smallest pouch I'd ever seen, trying to contain everything inside. And he had a kind of like a leather chest harness on, but he was out there bouncing. She said he has been doing this for hours. She said, I can't get him off the dance floor. So we watched, we laughed at him a couple times, but it was an amazing time. Definitely looking forward to December. We've got some thinking to do to see what events we're going to come up with. And we're going to collab with Ex Libras on some of these events as well.
Considering that they stepped up and they helped us out so much, it would definitely be better to have the four of our minds coming up with some new things.
And of course, we're not going to leave you listeners hanging.
Oh, you have no idea what's going on for the next episode.
Next episode, we're going to do the rope. I bet you they didn't guess that, did they?
I bet they didn't.
We are going to give you the next episode as rope. Sorry we promised it this week, but it was such a great weekend. I
No.
had such a great time, and I have such a short memory. I wanted to get this episode done and over with in case I forgot something. Tune in next time as we dig into Lady Dee's future rope play.
Yay! Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.